Hi everyone, it's Chris here. This video will introduce Harvard-style referencing and we'll be looking specifically at in-text citations. The next video will look at the other part of referencing, which is reference lists. Now, if you remember anything from this video, the most important thing to remember is that you should learn how to use this guide. This is the CQUniversity Harvard Referencing Style Guide, and you can download it from the TWU Moodle site. You can also download it from the CQUniversity website, or you can purchase a hard copy from the CQUniversity library for a very small fee. It has loads of examples of how to do different types of referencing from different types of sources. So if you learn anything from this video, learn that it is important to get to know how to use this guide, because if you can look things up in this guide, you're well on your way to referencing correctly. Okay, so let's get in and have a look at Harvard-style referencing. Now in this video we're going to be looking specifically at Harvard-style referencing, but note that there are other styles used at CQUniversity. For example, there is APA, Turabian, or EndNote and Footnote, but the STEPS program and many of the schools at CQUniversity use Harvard style, so that's what we're going to be looking at. Okay, so what is referencing? Well, referencing is a standardized method of acknowledging the sources of information you use in your assignments. And we do it for a number of reasons. It demonstrates breadth of research, it strengthens our academic arguments, it shows the reader the sources of information that we've used in compiling our reports, and it also allows the reader to consult or verify any data. They might want to look up the information for themselves, and so that's another reason that we do it. So what do we reference? Well, we reference things like quotes, so they would be the exact words of someone else. Paraphrases, so that's someone else's ideas but written in your own words. Summaries, that's similar to a paraphrase, but it's a more concise version of someone else's ideas written in your own words. And any data, so statistics, facts, percentages, etc., we reference those. And finally, any figures and tables that come from other sources, we need to reference those as well. Now there are two parts to referencing, as I mentioned in the introduction. There's the in-text citations and the list of references, and we're going to be looking at in-text citations here. So here's an example. So this is in the body of the assignment. We've got a paragraph here, and I've highlighted the citations, the in-text citations. So according to Jackson, 2010, page 36. There's another one there, Jackson, 2010, page 52. And then another one, Nolan, 2009. So the in-text citations include the author's name, and it's just their family name, not their first name and not their initials, just their family name, the date, and if applicable, the page number. And I'll talk about when we include page numbers in a moment. Direct quotes require quotation marks, and you can see that this second in-text citation is preceded by quotation marks. So the words engage with the information you read and apply it to your specific topic is enclosed in quotation marks, which means that those words have come directly from that source. They're the exact same words as the source. And then our last citation only has the author's name and the year, and it doesn't include the page numbers, and I'll talk about why this might be the case in a moment. Okay, so the list of references, there is another video that will talk about this, but basically you have all of the list of sources that are cited in the report itself. They appear at the end of the document on a page on its own. So in-text citations, what to include? We've got the author or the source. Sometimes it's not always a person, but it might be a company, or it might be an organization, a government department, and things like that. And then we have the year published. It might also be the year that it was updated or copyrighted, and that might be specifically for things like websites. And we also have page numbers for statistics, direct quotes, or any other information that comes from a specific page, and that's the key point. If information comes from a specific page, put the page number. If it comes from throughout the whole document, then you don't need to use the page numbers. So for example, here's a in-text citation, blah, 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 bracket, Smith, 2014, comma, space, P stands for page, 12, and then close the brackets and full stop. Now all of that punctuation and spacing is important when referencing correctly. Okay, so two ways to write in-text citations. One is author prominent, and the other is information prominent. Basically, this means that the position of the citation is different. So with author prominent, the author will come first, and then the information after that. Information prominent means that the information comes first and the author after that. So here's an example of an author prominent citation. According to Richards, 2007, page 29, green turtle numbers have decreased by 20% since 1997, making them a threatened species. So that is an example of an author prominent citation. The author's name comes before the information and it is formatted in a particular way. And this type of citation is used when acknowledging who said the information is important. Here are some other examples. So according to Richards, so that's like the previous page, but you can also write it like this. Richards, 2007, page 29, notes that, and then the same information. Or Richards points out that, green turtle numbers, blah, blah, blah. It depends on what you're trying to achieve with the meaning as to how you write your citation. Now, there are a number of verbs that you can use, so you can use that format of according to, and then the information. You could have the name, so Smith, 2014, page 29, states, and there are a whole range of verbs that you can use depending on what you're trying to achieve. And these are listed in your referencing guide on page 6. So those introductory pages in the referencing guide are very important. Okay, so another way to write in-text citations is to write them as information prominent citations. So here's an example. The information comes first. Many companies altered their parental leave policies to allow men the same entitlements as women. Then we have the author, the year, and the page number. So that comes after the referenced information. And this is used when the information is important, more important than who said it. And in scientific and technical fields, these tend to be used more often, but it's not always the case. And it's good to have a little bit of variety in most types of report writing, unless your lecturers advise you otherwise. So information prominent in-text citations. So this is like the one on the previous page, but you could also write them like this. So here's one where it is partially a quote. You can see by the quotation marks there. So in 2010, and then the quote begins, 16.4% of Australian males 14 years or older were daily smokers. End the quotation mark. Note that the full stop goes at the end of the citation, not before it. So we've got bracket, Australian Institute of Health and Welfare. Now this is an example where you can use an abbreviation, and because it appears inside the brackets, then you use square brackets. AIHW 2011, P, which stands for page, full stop, 2 of 4. Close the bracket, full stop. Now, it might seem a little fastidious to get all of these little bits right, but if you follow the style guide, then you won't go wrong. Alright, so the next video will look at reference lists. So stay tuned and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.